My name is Jenna. I'm Greek. I was born in Germany and I grew up in a very strict, traditional Greek Orthodox family. We grew up almost as other Muslim families would raise their children. Our families wanted to guarantee that we would be brought up in a Christian way, in the Orthodox way. We always went for vacation all together, and we never split up for vacation. So family vacations were always very nice, and especially our very first vacation in the UAE about 13 years ago. I was like 12, 13 years old, and the first week we stayed in the country, we did a tour all over the UAE. And it was on a Friday when we were on the way to a souk. Suddenly the adhan came on for the her time, for the prayer time. And everything stopped. People stopped their cars, took their prayer rugs and just go out and pray on the streets. The sound of the adhan was something that changed something inside of me. And subhanAllah, I don't know what it was, but it never left me, kind of. It changed something and it stayed. And I just wanted to know what it means, what it actually says. I was a person that I did not want to hear the subject death at all. I didn't want to hear about death. I used to leave conversations when it comes to death, and I never attended funerals. My uncle died in front of my eyes, taking his last breath, and that was the thing that changed a lot inside of me. I just started feeling that this life isn't exactly what I thought it is, and we're investing too much time and energy on things that could be gone in a second time. Because after the death of my uncle, I faced a time where I used to wake up 3 times in the night going to check if my father is breathing, if my mom is still breathing. Constant fear of death because you think that this is the end. That made me strongly start researching again about Islam. I researched before about other religions as well, but I could not find any truth in there or anything that will convince me. When I started reading about Islam, I found all the answers that I could not find in my own religion. The fact where I got really convinced was when I read the biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It reminded me so much of what we used to know and read about Jesus, Isa alayhi salam. So I started reading and this person seemed to be such a noble person with such amazing characteristics, with a personality that I think I've never read something similar like that before. After reading the biography, I was convinced that everything I know about Islam, I have to delete it and just start reading from zero onwards and get my own research and get my own facts about this religion, because obviously everything I knew before was wrong. It didn't take a long time to find out that Islam is the truth and that there can't be any other religion in the world than this. Although I got convinced about Islam, I was scared to say the Shahada. I was like, yeah, it's the right thing. I might, take this logic and this way of life inside of me, but I won't ever be able to accept Islam because of my parents and my family. I knew that they will never accept it, and that if they would ever get to know something like that, my life would change dramatically. So I met a girl in Germany. She's from Egypt. Her name is Noha. She helped me a lot because I met her right when I started praying to find the truth, to get more courage in what I'm doing. We got to know each other. We talked about Islam. She started explaining everything to me, all the questions that I had, because I was convinced. I knew it's the truth. I knew my religion is wrong, and that I couldn't live like that. After meeting Noha, I think 1 or 1.5 months later, I took my Shahada in Germany, in the student dorms. It was supposed to be just me and her, but somehow Muslim students got to know that someone is going to convert to Islam, so I had about 20 people in the room afterwards. So alhamdulillah, I had many witnesses. Alhamdulillah, I took my Shahada, and I will never forget that day, and I will never forget my first prayer. Going back home wasn't that scary driving towards saying the Shahada. I think that day, my whole life, I mean, Shaitan was playing so much with my feelings. I think my whole life passed in front of me like a video stream. I was seeing icons. I was even thinking, but that's now haram because my parents, they spent so much money for the party of my baptism, you know, that's the whole party. I was thinking really weird things, I don't know. So yeah, after taking my Shahada, I was completely calm. I think I never slept that well as that night, alhamdulillah. And then what I remember very well was the first morning, because I woke up and I know I have to pray Fajr. And I don't know where to pray Fajr because my family's in the house. No one knows I'm a Muslim. And now I have to hide somewhere. Obviously, I can't hide in the bathroom to pray. My room is not, it's just a loft, so I can lock a door. So I went down the basement and I prayed in my father's gym room. And I could hear him, I was praying. And although in prayer, especially after I took my Shahada, my prayer was like, you could enjoy every second. It used to take half an hour for me to finish one prayer. Although I didn't even know how to say all the words right. But I could hear my dad's footsteps coming down. I know the door is locked, but I was like, what if he wants to come in? What would I do? What should I do with the prayer rug, with the abaya? I was scared so much. And this hiding for the prayer was kind of stressful sometimes because you had to keep in the time. But alhamdulillah, it was an amazing period of time. Right after my Shahada, it was a very nice time. These 6 months where my family didn't know, and I had all the time to improve my knowledge about Islam, because I knew that the time will come where my parents know and the questions will start. 6 months later, my family kind of figured that something has changed. My mother found a week or two later that she found my abaya and my prayer rug, and she was completely convinced that I had converted to Islam. They hoped while taking me to Greece and I won't have my friends there anymore and I might forget about Islam and they will be able to get me back. After they find out that I converted to Islam, my mother asked me to leave the house. She told me that I'm not their daughter anymore. She was crying and she was screaming and she was asking me how I could do something like that to them and how I could accept a religion like that, a bad religion, how I could leave Christ and accept a person like Muhammad who used to hit and do and wars and blood and things that is not true, and she doesn't know, she doesn't have knowledge about it at all. And in that stage she's so angry and you can't talk to her, you can't make her relax and calm down, and you just feel so helpless. And there is nothing worse than seeing your mother crying because of you, because of something that you decided to do in your life. So she asked me that day to leave the house. She gave me my things and she said I have to leave the house. She does not have a daughter. I died for them, and even if she dies, she does not want me to go and visit her in her grave. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me anymore. After all that, I still stayed for about 5 months in Greece, and I tried everything I could with my family in order to make them accept my conversion. For 5 months I had everyday humiliation. One thing I still don't understand is where I got all this strength and all that sabr to go through that time. I mean, every night I used to pray and just cry and pray for strength to face the next day. I had, subhanAllah, during that time, my first Ramadan. My first Ramadan, I had to spend it all by myself in Greece while having my family bombarding me with insulting Prophet Muhammad, insulting the religion of Islam, insulting me. It's very difficult, and I never felt bad about, I never kept something like that inside of me. I forgave them for everything they did because I know that they don't know and they can't understand. And because of the media, which is the worst thing that's going on in the world at the moment, these people are afraid. My mother thought that I joined an organization. She was asking me, all these people that I have on the internet that I'm chatting with, friends, where do they come from? Do I know? Did I join any organization? Do I have anything to do with terror? That's what she had in mind after she knew that I converted. I started thinking that I have to leave Greece. So I started looking for jobs in the Middle East, and I found a job in a German company here in Dubai. And that's how I came. I think I prayed a zillion istikhara before coming here, because it was a very big step, and I could not imagine my life all of a sudden on my own without my family. I was always depending on my family. I never worked in any other place than my family's businesses. And I felt that it would be very difficult. Of course, I did not tell my family anything. I just took an airplane and came. Hours before my flight, I told my sister that I'm leaving. So I just took an airplane and I came here with just a few euros in my pocket. And I don't know, honestly, again, where I got the strength and the courage to just leave everything and come. Alhamdulillah, I faced very difficult times. It was tough, but I never regret any step that I took in the path of Islam, never. And if it would happen again, I would do exactly the same things again. And I'm very happy I'm here, and I can live as a Muslim freely without having any restrictions in that. And things will go fine. Whatever is not will go better.